Hello everybody and welcome to Square Balloon Actions and Tutorials. This tutorial is just to show you how to do a little bit of editing in Adobe Camera Raw alone, and I'm going to be using Adobe Camera Raw 7.3 that comes with CS6. So there is a version of this that comes with Elements, but it has a much more limited panel and options in it. So I'm going to be using the full version of this 7.3 ACR. So I'll just show you what the before picture was like. Here we have a baby that was taken, the picture was taken in natural light, and often when you take newborns in natural light they instinctively furrow up their brow because of the light. So this is just beside a large window here. So we're going to lessen the effect of this frown here with some adjustment brushes. We're going to fix up this vignette here by adding a new paler one, and we're going to get rid of some of the little nicks and scratches with the spot removal tool, and we're going to smooth the skin a little bit as well. So let's see, the first thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to bring up the exposure a little bit. I'll see auto white balance is kind of nice. Yeah, it was a little bit jaundiced, so I don't necessarily want all that yellow coming out, but I'll just make a couple of adjustments there. So I'm going to go on to the effects first, just to take away this dark vignette. And I'm going to bring, instead of making a vignette like this way, up to the left, I'm going to bring it to the right. So this gives us a pale vignette. And I'm going to bring the midpoint in a little bit as well. So you can play around with these sliders. If you're shooting on white, then it can be quite nice to have a pale vignette rather than a dark one. And you can see that the pale vignette comes over here a little bit, giving it a sort of a faded out look, and I kind of like that too. So we'll go back to our basic panel again. I'm going to zoom in here, just close into the face. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the spot removal tool. I've got it on heal, not clone. My radius is 1, the opacity is 100. And I'm just going to draw a little circle around the bits that I want to tidy up. And then the green, the little green circle, that will automatically find the best place to choose from, but you can move that around if you feel that it's chosen. You could choose a better place yourself. So just draw a circle around the little mark, and then just slowly going around your picture, you can get rid of all those little nicks if you want. And of course you can draw a bigger circle as well if there's a bigger patch of skin that needs healing. Okay, so that's all fine. And now we're going to just get the other couple as I see them. Okay, so now we're going to get a bigger version here. I'm going to take quite a big circle right from here where the frown is, and I'm going to drag that up into an area of good skin, which is up here. The forehead is often a very good place that you can take from. And then I'll make another one here. Let's see. Okay, so let's see how they look. Take the spot remote. I'll take off the show overlay, and already it's starting to look much better. But there's still a couple more that I need to do. Maybe just here. And then the rest I'll probably do with an adjustment brush. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to, I'll move on to the adjustment brush now. And the first adjustment brush, I'm just going to double click these to reset them all. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to smooth the skin a little bit. So I'm going to make sure that my clarity is down to nothing, my sharpness is down to, both at -100. And I'm going to get my brush. I can use the square brackets to make it bigger or smaller, and then I can just paint over the skin. And just like in Photoshop, just be careful not to go over eyelashes and eyes, any features really. Okay, I can see that that brush has a little bit of saturation on it, which I don't want to bring any more saturation to her skin. So I'm going to bring those back to where they were. Okay, so once you've decided if you think that's okay smoothing, you can you just go over little bits that you want. You can also make a new brush and re-smooth more bits if you want. And then if you want to sharpen up little bits, we'll just make a new adjustment brush. So click new up here, and we'll change the clarity up to +100 and the sharpness up to +100. And then of course we can go along the bits that we want to sharpen. That's probably a little bit dark there, so let's bring the clarity down a little bit. Maybe along the lips here too. Brighten them up too. So then of course you can go in and sharpen up little bits. And the other thing that we can see here is little bits of red, and again we can use another adjustment brush for that. So we'll make a new one, and I'm going to take off the clarity and the sharpness for this, and I'm going to lower the saturation, and I'll probably keep the exposure a little bit higher as well. And then we can paint over the areas that we feel are a little bit red. Let me feather that a little bit more. So anywhere where you can see a little bit too much red, you can just paint with your brush. A bit up here, on the eye, and chin. So you can see that's taking some of the red out of that. I'm going to make a new one and just, on the bits that are really red, kind of double up on it too. So that's fine, and it's already looking pretty good. The other thing that I'm going to use an adjustment brush for is just to add a little bit of brightness to some areas. So I just here, just to take away some more of that little those little frown marks, I can lower the contrast, raise the exposure, and again just paint in there where I think it's a little bit dark. Maybe just even bring a little bit of lightness to that side of the face. So let's have a look at the whole thing now. Maybe I'll lower the opacity of the whole thing, lower the exposure. So I think that's pretty good. We've made all our adjustments, we've smoothed the skin, we've sharpened up the bits that we want to be a little bit sharper, we've taken the red out, and we've taken away the frown mark and the little spots and things with the spot removal tool. So there's an example of how you can do a full edit in Adobe Camera Raw without having to bring it into Photoshop at all.